is it? Okay. Oh.
So do I. So they're a little slow on this. That's good.
Okay, we're going to go ahead then and call the December 18th, 2017 council meeting to order, and we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Katora?
Here.
Mr. McGill?
Here.
Mrs. Meany?
Here.
Mr. Palunas?
Here.
Mr. Russo?
Here.
Mr. Shimitz?
Here.
Mr. Zellman?
Here.
Okay, changes to the agenda. There are no changes to the agenda. Announcements are as published. Just a note, City Hall will be closed on December 25th. The December 27th Planning Commission meeting is canceled. City Hall, again, will be closed on January 1st, 2018. And other than that, the other announcements are as published. Any comments from the audience? Any comments from the audience? Okay, seeing none, approval of the minutes of December 4th, 2017.
So moved. Second.
Okay, motion moved by Councilman Russo, second by Councilman McGill. Roll call, please.
Mr. Katora?
Yes.
Mr. McGill?
Yes.
Mrs. Meany?
Yes.
Mr. Palunas?
Yes.
Mr. Russo?
Yes.
Mr. Shimitz?
Yes.
Mr. Zellman?
Yes.
Okay, Planning Commission consent, item number 1.
An application was received from Crown Castle AT&T for property located at 32900 Station Street for an antenna and equipment alterations, and the Planning Commission approved.
Okay, item number 2.
An application was also received for Crown Castle and Sprint for property located at 32900 Station Street, also for an antenna and equipment alterations, which was also approved.
Item number 3.
An application was received from Cosmo Solon Limited and AT&T for property located at 30201 Aurora Road for antenna and equipment alterations, and the application was also approved.
Item number 4.
An application was received from Oakwood Laboratories, LLC, for property located at 27070 Miles Road for site plan approval for a temporary office trailer. The Planning Commission recommended approval for a period of 1 year from the date the permit is issued.
Okay. Mr. Palunas.
I'll move that we approve the Planning Commission consent agenda.
Okay. Moved by Councilman Palunas, seconded by Councilman McGill. Roll call, please.
Mr. Katora?
Yes.
Mr. McGill?
Yes.
Mrs. Meany?
Yes.
Mr. Palunas?
Yes.
Mr. Russo?
Yes.
Mr. Shimitz?
Yes.
Mr. Zellman?
Yes. Okay, pending. Item number 5.
Ordinance number 2017-191, and ordinance adopting the annual appropriations for personal services and other expenditures of the City of Solon for the period January 1st, 2018 to December 31st, 2018, and declaring an emergency. This is the third reading, but we also need a motion to amend the legislation.
Okay, Bob Palunas.
I'll move that we amend the legislation as written.
Okay. Okay.
No suspension.
I'll second.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, moved by Councilman Palunas, second by Councilman Russo. Roll call, please.
Mr. Katora?
Yes.
Mr. McGill?
Yes.
Mrs. Meany?
Yes.
Mr. Palunas?
Yes.
Mr. Russo?
Yes.
Mr. Shimitz?
Yes.
Mr. Zellman?
Yes.
I will move for passage as amended.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Palunas, seconded by Mr. Russo. Roll call, please.
Mr. Katora?
Yes.
Mr. McGill?
Yes.
Mrs. Meany?
Yes.
Mr. Palunas?
Yes.
Mr. Russo?
Yes.
Mr. Shimitz?
Yes.
Mr. Zellman?
Yes. Okay, item number 6.
Ordinance number 2017-192, and ordinance adopting the annual appropriations for capital expenditures of the City of Solon for the period January 1st, 2018 to December 31st, 2018, and this is the third reading.
Okay, Mr. Palunas?
Is it me?
Yep. I think
Or
it's
do we have
Mr.
Jeremy?
Zellman.
I'm sorry.
No problem.
Sorry.
I move to approve the ordinance as written.
Second? Okay, motion by Mr. Selwyn, second by Mr. McGill. Roll call, please.
Mr. Katora?
Yes.
Mr. McGill?
Yes.
Mrs. Meany?
Yes.
Mr. Palunas?
Yes.
Mr. Russo?
Yes.
Mr. Schmitz?
Yes.
Mr. Zeller?
Yes.
Okay, item number 7.
Ordinance number 2017-193, and ordinance submitting to the electors the question of rezoning permanent parcels 952-19005, 952-19006, 952-19007, 952-19008, 952-19009, and 952-19013, comprising approximately 5.38 acres located to the east of the intersection of Cruzy Drive and Bainbridge Road from the current C1 Historic Commercial District and C2 Restricted Commercial District to the R3A Senior Citizen Residential 1 zoning district. And this is the third reading.
Okay, Mr. Palunas.
Yes, this is the proposed Omni Senior Housing Development, which is on Cruzy Drive. And there were several public hearings at the Planning Commission. There were several hearings here. It's now on the third reading. And what we are voting on tonight for the public's edification is to place this item on the ballot for rezoning. And I will move that we pass ordinance number 2017-193 and submit it to the Board of Elections for the question of rezoning these permanent parcel numbers stated by the clerk, and prepare ballot language accordingly.
I'll second.
Okay, moved by Councilman Palunas, second by Councilman Russo. Roll call, please.
Mr. Katora?
Yes.
Mr. McGill?
Yes.
Mrs. Meany?
Yes.
Mr. Palunas?
Yes.
Mr. Russo?
Yes.
Mr. Schmitz?
Yes.
Mr. Zeller?
Yes.
Okay, item number 8.
Ordinance number 2017-194, and ordinance approving wage schedules and providing for wage increases for employees not covered by a collective bargaining agreement for the year 2018 and declaring an emergency. This is also the third reading.
Mr. McGill.
Yep, this is the third reading, an ordinance to provide wage increases for our employees that are not covered by a collective bargaining agreement. And I move that we accept it as submitted under emergency.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Mr. McGill, second by Mr. Russo. Roll call, please.
Mr. Katora?
Yes.
Mr. McGill?
Yes.
Mrs. Meany?
Yes.
Mr. Russo?
Yes.
Mr. Schmitz?
Yes.
Mr. Zeller?
Yes.
You got Mr. Palunas.
You forgot me.
Mr. Palunas?
Yes.
I'm new at this
Saw
one.
his eyes raise a little bit.
There you go. Okay, on to correspondence. We have one item under correspondence, item number 9.
Liquor permit application for Burgers to Beer Solon Limited, doing business as Burgers to Beer, located at 33003 Aurora Road, Suite A and patio. No
Russo.
objections were received.
Mr. Russo?
Okay, seeing that there were no objections to this request, I move to not request a hearing.
I'll second.
Okay. Motion by Mr. Russo, second by Mr. Schmitz. Roll call, please.
Mr. Katora?
Yes.
Mr. McGill?
Yes.
Mrs. Meany?
Yes.
Mr. Palunas?
Yes.
Mr. Russo?
Yes.
Mr. Schmitz?
Yes.
Mr. Zeller?
Yes.
Okay, on to our consent agenda, item number 10.
Ordinance number 2017-201, and ordinance accepting the final contract adjustment with Param Electric for the citywide traffic signal improvements.
Mr. Katora.
This legislation approves the final change order to the citywide traffic signal improvement project, contract 2010.20, which reduces the contract by $207,999.28 and extends the contract 39 days. This legislation also closes out the contract in the amount of $4,689,928 to Param Electric.
Thank you. Okay, item number 11.
Ordinance number 2017-202, and ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a post-inspection and maintenance agreement with Reptite for 6075 Cochrane Road.
Mr. Katora.
Reptite was required to install a stormwater management system on their property located at 6075 Cochrane Road in accordance with Chapter 1257 of the City of Solon's Planning and Zoning Code, the Comprehensive Stormwater Management. Chapter 1257 also requires that the property owners enter into an inspection and maintenance agreement for stormwater control measures to ensure that the long-term maintenance is provided and that the system continues to perform as designed. This legislation authorizes the mayor to enter into an inspection and maintenance agreement for stormwater control measures with RAP-Tight.
Thank you. Item number 12.
Excuse me, ordinance number 2017-203, and ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a post-construction inspection and maintenance agreement with Roll House Entertainment for 33185 Bainbridge Road.
Mr. Shimmons.
This legislation is authorizing the mayor to enter into the post-construction inspection and maintenance agreement with Roll House.
Very good. Okay, item number 13.
Ordinance number 2017-204, and ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a memorandum of understanding and agreement with the Cuyahoga Soil and Water Conservation District related to stormwater pollution prevention plans and construction site inspections.
Mr. Couture.
The engineering department has been entering into a memorandum of understanding with the Cuyahoga Soil and Water Conservation District for several years now. And this is done to assist the city of Solon in meeting the requirements of our stormwater management plan, which is required by our OEPA and NPDES permits. And it helps us to meet the requirements of our permit by providing the following services: to perform stormwater pollution prevention plan, which is also known as an SWP3, reviews for proposed development, redevelopment, and infrastructure renovation projects, to perform abbreviated construction plan reviews as requested by the city, to perform field reviews of active construction projects, to perform long-term maintenance field reviews of post-construction water quality facilities and water quantity facilities, and to provide written technical advisory reports detailing plan review recommendations, site conditions, and recommendations for compliance and/or maintenance activities that may be needed. This legislation waives the competitive bidding requirement of our codified ordinance 234.03C and approves the memorandum of understanding with the Cuyahoga Soil and Water Conservation District in the amount of $26,000.
Thank you. Item 14.
Ordinance number 2017-205, and ordinance amending ordinance number 2016-117 to modify the proposal of Burgess & Nyepel for professional engineering design services for the Briar Hill Culvert Replacement Project as part of General Engineering Design Services contract.
Mr. Shimmons.
Okay, this is the ordinance is hereby amended to modify the proposal of Burgess & Nyepel to include additional services in the amount of $61,640 for the Briar Hill Culvert Replacement Project, not to exceed a total cost of $158,240. A copy of which proposal is attached in substantial compliance with the same and incorporated herein fully as if by reference is hereby accepted. Further, the mayor or his designee is authorized to execute any and all documents in furtherance of the intents of this agreement.
Great, thank you. Item 15.
Ordinance number 2017-206, and ordinance authorizing the purchase of the Clear Lane Enhanced De-icer from Cargill Incorporated through the National Joint Powers Alliance Cooperative Purchasing Program for use by the Service Department and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Couture.
At our last Public Works Committee meeting, the Service Department expressed a need to purchase up to 1,000 tons of Clear Lane Enhanced De-icer. Now, Clear Lane Enhanced De-icer is used when regular salt's no longer effective, because regular salt starts to become less and less effective when the ambient air temperature drops below 20 degrees Fahrenheit. This legislation authorizes the purchase of up to 1,000 tons of Clear Lane salt from Cargill at a price of $65.89 per ton for a total of $65,890 off of the National Joint Powers Alliance's contract 080114-CGI. And this legislation is being passed under emergency because the funds for this have been budgeted in our 2017 budget.
Okay, thank you. Item 16.
Ordinance number 2017-207, an ordinance authorizing the Director of Finance to sell unusable, obsolete tires of no further use to the Service Department and having no further municipal purpose by internet auction.
Mr. Shemitz.
This ordinance gives the finance director authorization to sell unusable, obsolete tires by internet auction with GovPlanet, GovDeals, or PropertyRoom.com, as outlined in the memo from the Assistant Director of City Services, attached hereto as Exhibit A, and incorporated herein fully as if by reference.
Great. Thank you. Item 17.
Ordinance number 2017-208, and ordinance accepting the bid of NRP Midwest LLC for a 2-year contract for the purchase of polymer products used by the Water Reclamation Department.
Mr. Katora.
On September 29th, 2017, the Water Reclamation Department opened 3 bids to supply bulk polymer. NRP Midwest LLC was the lowest responsive and responsible bidder in the amount of $129.98 per dry ton. This legislation authorizes the acceptance of the bid of NRP Midwest LLC in the amount of 99 cents per pound for a period of 2 years beginning March 1st, 2018 through February 29th, 2020.
Thank you. Item 18. Thank you.
Ordinance number 2017-209, an ordinance authorizing the Director of Finance to dispose of exercise equipment of no further municipal purpose and unfit for sale.
Mr. McGill.
Our well-muscled and in-shape firefighters have managed to beat this treadmill into submission, and therefore it is unsafe to even be sold. So this legislation authorizes the Director of Finance to dispose of it.
Okay, thank you. Item 19.
Ordinance number 2017-210, an ordinance consenting to the installation of automatic flashing lights and gates by the Ohio Rail Development Commission at the railroad crossing on Camp Industrial Parkway.
Mr. Russo.
Sure. Due to an accident, the Ohio Rail Development Commission has identified the railroad crossing at Camp Industrial Parkway for a potential warning device upgrade by their hazard index. They will be installing automatic flashing lights and gates at the crossing at Camp Industrial Parkway at no cost to the city of Solon.
Great. Thank you. Item 20.
Ordinance number 2017-211, and ordinance consenting to the Ohio Department of Transportation's project to improve Psalm Center Road extending into the city of Solon from the city of Twinsburg and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Katora.
The Ohio Department of Transportation has identified a project to widen Psalm Center Road in the city of Twinsburg. As a part of the widening in the city of Twinsburg, the project will widen the current taper section in the city of Solon north to Lisa Lane. ODOT has requested approval of consent legislation in accordance with Ohio Revised Code 5521.31. This legislation authorizes the mayor to approve the consent legislation for the improvements of Psalm Center Road under emergency in order to meet the deadline that has been scheduled by ODOT.
Thank you. Item 21.
Ordinance number 2017-212, an ordinance authorizing the City of Solon Political Subdivision to participate in the State of Ohio Cooperative Purchasing Program for the 2018 fiscal year and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Palunas.
Yes, some discussion was had tonight at the Finance Committee meeting, and it was deemed appropriate to enter into the Ohio Cooperative Purchasing Program for the 2018 fiscal year, declaring an emergency for purchases of items that the city commonly buys.
Thank you. Item 22.
Ordinance number 2017-213, an ordinance authorizing the City of Solon Political Subdivision to participate in various government purchasing cooperatives designated by the Director of Finance and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Zelwin.
This is an ordinance similar to the last one, but granting the city access to 8 other government purchasing cooperatives to purchase goods on behalf of the city.
Thank you. Item 23.
Ordinance number 2017-214, and ordinance authorizing purchases from various vendors for use by the Service Department and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Zelwin.
This is an ordinance to approve some blanket purchase orders for the service department for use of fleet maintenance vehicles and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Item 24.
Ordinance 2017-215, and ordinance authorizing the execution of then and now certificates by the Director of Finance and the payment of amounts due for various purchase orders and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Palunas?
Yes, this was approved at the Finance Committee held this evening, and it involves two purchase orders, one for Cintas in the amount of $4749.09, and PNC Bank $5,697.09. And these are the two certificates that are here.
Okay, thank you. Item 25.
Ordinance number 2017-218, and ordinance authorizing the Director of Finance to advertise for bids for the approved 2018 infrastructure fund projects and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Palunas?
Yes, this is actually a very good idea that Public Works, I think, discussed a lot last year, and it came to Finance Committee tonight. And what their engineering department is going to be able to do is bid all the projects at one time on their priority list, and then as the bids come in or as they want to go bid, they can take their time and bid when they need to, and we don't have to have special meetings. And these are all projects. We're not actually approving the projects themselves. We're just getting the costs for the bids on these.
Great, thank you. Item 26.
Ordinance number 2017-219, and ordinance authorizing interfund transfers on December 18th, 2017, and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Zelwin?
This ordinance is to allow the interfund transfers for $600,000 to pre-fund the General Capital Equipment Fund, transfer of $1,067,700 to start the new reserve for the Employee Medical Self-Insurance Fund, a transfer of $300,000 to the Budget Stabilization Fund that will enhance that reserve to $7 million, a transfer of $250,000 for the Accumulated Sick Leave Fund to continue building that fund leading up to the 27th pay that will occur in the 2020 budget year.
Thank you. Item 27.
Ordinance number 2017-220, and ordinance adopting the annual appropriations for personal services and other expenditures of the City of Solon for the period January 1st, 2017 to December 31st, 2017, and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Palunas?
This is just some change in some of the line items in the budget for January 1, 2017 to December 31, 2017, as detailed in the chart on the ordinance.
Okay, thank you. Okay, this brings us to the end of our consent agenda. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve under suspension.
Second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Russo, second by Mr. Zelwin. Under suspension, roll call, please.
Ms. Katora?
Yes.
Mr. McGill?
Yes.
Mrs. Meany?
Yes.
Mr. Palunas?
Yes.
Mr. Russo?
Yes.
Mr. Schmitz?
Yes.
Mr. Zeller?
Yes.
Final passage?
Mr. Katora?
Yes.
Mr. McGill?
Yes.
Mrs. Meany?
Yes.
Mr. Palunas?
Yes.
Mr. Russo?
Yes.
Mr. Schmitz?
Yes.
Mr. Zeller?
Yes.
Okay, comments from the audience? Any comments from the audience? Okay, then we'll go to comments from council, starting with Mr. Palunas.
Yes, first of all, I would like to thank the administration for, I apologize. I would like to thank the administration for putting on the ceremony last Sunday evening, and it was a very nice ceremony, and thank you for putting that on. Also to the department heads, city council, and all the residents in Solon. This is our last meeting of the year, so happy holidays, and hope everyone has a very happy, healthy, and safe new year. I'm sorry, I'm a little
Distracted.
I got a little distracted with the bells.
I don't even know if I should call his name. No. Mr. Santa Claus Schmitz.
I'd like to wish everyone a happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, and a safe and happy New Year. Also, I'd like to congratulate my son Rob and his wife Danny for bringing us a beautiful granddaughter on Saturday. Looking forward to seeing her hopefully on Wednesday.
That's a good one.
Mr. Zelwin.
Similar to Mr. Palunas, want to thank the administration and everyone who helped put together the event last week for the swearing in. I want to thank Mr. Rubino for all the work that he's done with the budget. Appreciate that, all the hard work he did there, and also want to wish everyone happy holidays and happy New Year.
Mr. McGill.
Okay. I will try not to take too much time tonight, but since Mr. Russo has rejoined us on the talkers side of the dais, I have a standard to live up to. First, though, a question for Mayor Kraus. Just in the few days before the end of her last term, your predecessor issued a brochure and a letter to all of Solon at considerable expense to the city. Were you aware of this?
I was not.
Okay.
So.
Mr. Rubino, do you know the cost of this?
Councilman, I believe it was approximately $2,000, slightly over.
But not including postage?
I'm not including postage, but within the procurement limits as far as receiving multiple quotes.
So we're up to $7,000 or $8,000 total to send this out.
I don't know what that exact postage was.
All right. Mr. Stolarski, do you think that was an appropriate use of taxpayer funds?
I believe the mayor, when it was, at the time it was sent out, she was the mayor of the city, and she had a right to communicate to the citizens of the city of Solon.
All right, just for a note, I think it's highly inappropriate that that occurred, and that the timing was, unfortunate relative to that. The city's not in the business of funding vanity press items for us, and that's taxpayer money that we're spending. All right, I'm going to move on. First of all, I would like to welcome Chief Vyland back to us. I know he was out with a minor medical problem last week. I'm glad he's rejoined us and smiling, I think. It's hard to tell. Up until about 8 or 9 years ago, my technology company was in Solon up on Naaman Parkway. And we got quite involved in the business community here in Solon, and of course we were involved in a number of marketing organizations as well. One of the people that I got to know quite well is Charisse Lewis. Charisse runs a company called Shireen Creative, and she does branding and marketing, advertising, digital communication. She is terrific. She's a wonderful person. We're still friends. And she was named, her company, Shireen Creative, was named Company of the Year by Solon Chamber of Commerce. And so I'd like to recognize Charisse. She's been involved in the Solon Chamber for a long time. She's a great volunteer. She's done a lot of work. So congratulations to Charisse for doing that. And one final thought before we go. I do want to wish everyone a happy Christmas. I hope we have great holidays. Unfortunately, my family is scattered not only around the country but around the world at this point in time, so I don't get to see them all on the holidays anymore, which is kind of sad. But one of the things I always talk to them about at the holidays is gratitude, remembering what we should be grateful for, because gratitude, I think, is the basis for not only humility but happiness itself. And so, in that note, yesterday there's an annual event, Wreaths Across America place wreaths on the gravestones of our veterans around the country. There's 50 states, over 1,200 locations. I think they did 12 to 15,000 wreaths at Arlington National Cemetery alone yesterday. And while they lay a wreath on the gravestone of our veterans, they pronounce the name of the veteran out loud, so that at least once a year, that veteran's name is heard for the sacrifices that we make. And so we need to be grateful for the sacrifices they made. My father and my uncle served in combat in World War II, and so they had wreaths placed on their graves, for which I am grateful for. And I think we should all be grateful for what they did and remember them as part of this season. It's an important part of who we are to remember that we are here because of the sacrifices that they made. And while we're in the warmth and comfort of our homes in the next few weeks, we should also remember those who are in harm's way for us now, overseas, away from the warmth and comfort of their families. And so if you have a moment, reflect in gratitude on the sacrifices they are making for us. And if you have a few dollars, send them to either the USO or to Wreaths Across America, because they do great work supporting and honoring our armed forces.
Thank you.
And finally, I am grateful for the opportunity to be here, to be on this dais with these people, and to serve the people of Solon. I am very grateful for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Couture.
I too am going to be a little loquacious tonight, and I promise that I will make it up to you guys in the future. I don't want to challenge Mayor Drucker's, whether she had I think it was within her privileges, Mayor, to be able to send out communications to the residents, but I do feel that some of those items that were communicated in her letter could have been communicated from this dais had she chosen to attend any of the council meetings between July and November. And I think I was a little disappointed that some of those things were never communicated to me as a member of council and someone who represents the people of Ward 4. I do feel that some of that should have been communicated to me. You know, 2 Sundays ago, on December 10th, we had a really nice swearing-in ceremony for those Solon officials that were elected this past November. And I was very fortunate to be one of those individuals. And I had the opportunity to take my oath of office that evening. And it seems like the older I'm getting, the more emotional I'm becoming. And I never used to be that way, so I'm not really sure how to handle that really well. I think part of it's bad karma for, I did laugh pretty hard at John Boehner when he became speaker and got all choked up when he took the gavel. So I think part of this is it's coming my way. That was a day when I was really missing my father because he took great pride in Solon. And in his students as well. And there were 3 of his students that were up there that night, Mr. Palunas, Mr. Shimitz, and myself. And I know that he would have been very proud of myself as well as his other students. And right before the ceremony, a resident told me, she's like, I know your father's in heaven, looking down with pride. And, you know, it was very touching, but I have to admit that it definitely threw me off my game a little bit, and I guess I was trying to manage my emotions, and I really didn't say all the things that I wanted to say that night. So I would like to take an opportunity to do that this evening. And for starters, I didn't thank my mother enough. You know, my mother is the hardest working member of our family, and Gallucci's Italian Foods would not be the place that it is today without my mother. And, you know, I really have to thank her because this public service job gives, it pleasures me personally in so many ways. And when duty calls in Solon, my mother's always there to be willing to open the store or close the store so that I can give back to this community that I love and serve in the capacity that I truly enjoy doing. You know, my mother also taught me to stand up for what I believe in and to always speak my mind, although I'm pretty sure she regrets the always speaking my mind part. On Sunday, I also mentioned previous mayors, Bill Price and Charles Smersina, as leaders that inspired me. But in my emotional cloud, I forgot to mention former councilmen John Crapell, Rick Mendelson, Rick Bell, and John Scott. And sadly, John Crapell and Rick Mendelson are no longer with us and have passed away. But these former leaders were always willing to share their perspective on issues with me. And I do believe it was beneficial in my service to my residents, and for that I'm grateful. Former Mayor Bob Paulson was the mayor when I was in high school, and we started a friendship after sitting together at a high school football sports banquet. And I had the privilege of having Bob Paulson as one of my constituents for 2 years. And as an old Solon kid that grew up when he was a mayor, I got a big kick out of that. Anybody who knows Bob Paulson, he's not a shy man, and he never was afraid of telling, I don't think he's afraid of telling anybody his opinion ever. He certainly wasn't with me. And I had a great deal that I was able to learn about legislative government from him, as well as the history and some of the reasons why we do some of the things that we do today. And I am grateful to him as well, because I do believe I am a better public servant as a result of our friendship. Ed and Rose Suit have treated my wife and I like family. Ed and Rose have always been willing to help us with anything, anytime we've called. They've been there for us, and that was especially the case when my brother-in-law unexpectedly passed away. I don't know how we would have been able to get through that time without them. I've learned a tremendous amount about public service from them as well. I thank them for their counsel, their love, and their support. The directors of this city, I've said it many times on record, I do believe that the directors are a big part of the reason why Solon is the great place that it is today to live and raise our families. And I thank them for teaching me all the inner workings about their departments. To my council family, I thank you so much for all of your help and hard work these past 4 years. And to Jeremy and Bob, I'm really looking forward to becoming a part of your extended family. To the residents of Ward 4, thanks for placing your trust in me. I will try to never let you down. And I would also like to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and a very happy, healthy, and prosperous New Year.
Thank you. Mr. Russo.
I'll keep it brief, as always. I just want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and a happy, healthy, prosperous 2018.
Thank you. Okay, my comments, to echo everybody, you know, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, happy Hanukkah. Everybody have a, you know, healthy and happy New Year, and I'm looking forward to some really exciting things happening in the city of Solon in 2018. Okay, comments from the administration?
I will try to keep this. I will try to keep this.
We've set the standard.
I will try to keep
with
this
the mayor.
brief. I know. I at least I got invited back. No, first of all, just I know you got that gavel now, and you will use it on me. You know, first of all, I thank all you guys. I know several of you stop in and pop in and see me. I really appreciate it. It means a lot. Just to get to chat and just talk about, you know, issues and ideas. So feel free, please, just pop in anytime. It means a lot to me. So thank the directors a lot. These last 2 weeks have been a whirlwind. It's really been great getting to know the directors and really learning in depth about all the work that they do. The commitment to public service is something that I've never experienced before with all the directors. It's just amazing. So I just want to thank all of you for sharing that with me and getting me up to speed on everything, because as I move forward, the one thing I need to fully understand is everything that goes on in the department. So I really appreciate it. Mr. Varga, congratulations on your promotion. Welcome. It's great and well earned. Matt, great job with the budget. I've had the opportunity to get to know Matt as the finance chair over the last few years, and I really commend all your hard work and effort in getting that budget through. Look forward to the discussion on Omni Properties as it moves forward throughout the community, and getting more of an education and focus and learning more about the project. Had the opportunity a couple of weeks ago to have lunch at the Senior Center with Shop with a Cop. Jamie Hoffman, Officer Jamie Hoffman, organized the group that went out on a Saturday morning. They took kids who wouldn't ordinarily have the opportunity to shop, gave them $150, spent the morning going to stores, and then brought them back for a great lunch. It really was it's a whole tribute to public service. That's what all of our people do, and they do it so well, and they actually make a difference, and especially with those young kids, to seeing the opportunity to be able to shop with a cop and then having that opportunity. And then just lastly, what I'm going to try to do, I know historically this has been an opportunity to talk about all the events that go on, and I'll do that too. But one thing I would like to take the opportunity sometimes is really to kind of throw out ideas. It's an opportunity we sort of have all together, and I don't always get that opportunity. So I'm going to use this time every now and then to just throw out ideas, and then feel free to text me and call me and email me, let me know your thoughts. So The one thing that I've been thinking about as we move into the new year is bringing back some boards and commissions, bringing back some more volunteer opportunities in the community. On the one hand, you know, we started a citizen police academy, and so I think a lot of citizens have gotten involved in that. Really, I've seen firsthand the active role that a lot of citizens play in that. For many years, we've had a stormwater management group. I think since the flood of 2006 we started that, and so many citizens have been active and involved. So the two areas that I would look at, and I'd love to know all of your thoughts and ideas. One is maybe bringing back some aspect of, I call it more like community life, recreation, Grantwood, arts and culture, and probably beautification, and bringing people back, bringing residents back that would be interested in maybe all of you can give me some names of people that you would know that would be interested in that type of a group to really get a handle on all of our community life and bringing back citizen involvement. And the other aspect, which I'm really serious about, is more of a business advisory group. I've learned a little bit about how they work in Jobs Ohio, and the one thing that I've learned from them is it shouldn't always be the government talking to businesses. It should be more of a business approach, have folks who are involved in business, own businesses, understand business, and so I would really welcome your thoughts and ideas about how to put together more of like a business advisory group so that there are ombudsmen out there meeting with our businesses, talking with their needs, their concerns. So it's not always a government talking to the businesses, but it's more of a business group. So those are a couple of things. And the other thing I would love to throw out, and I'll talk about this later in other meetings, is really starting to beef up more of our communications. I've noticed a little bit of a lacking approach to how we communicate everything that we do, whether it's more of a concentrated effort. I know it's done in departments sort of piecemeal, but I think we can do better in more of a comprehensive strategy to communicate all the great things that we do, whether it's bringing a new business or the things that we do on a daily basis. So as we move forward, you guys are my partners. I meant it when I call everyone Team Solon, and I love your input, particularly those two areas, the bringing back boards and commissions, and also how do we develop more of a comprehensive communication strategy that would really make more of an impact throughout the community. So that's all I have. Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everybody. Really enjoy the time with your families and your loved ones. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Szlarski?
Certainly want to extend my congratulations to Mr. Simmons and the addition to his family. I also want to speak to the community in kind of a cautionary tale. Every year through the police department, I'll get a couple of complaints people make regarding a snowplower they would have given money to, and they either don't show up or show up sporadically. And more often than not, those come down to be civil disputes, because it's difficult to say that when the individual took their money that they never had any intention of performing the service. So I would caution everybody to use the internet, certainly try to get a referral before they give somebody money for snow plowing, because the city, we don't license snow plowers, we don't endorse particular snow plowers. So I would ask you to do your due diligence and maybe get a neighbor's recommendation before giving somebody money for snow plowing. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. McConney?
Just wish everybody happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year.
Chief Island?
Nothing. Thank you. Have a safe and happy New Year.
Thank you. Chief Shaw?
The fire department wishing safety for all, and again, just a general warning as we're celebrating the holidays to please be very mindful of candles, keeping them away from objects that can be easily ignited, and make sure they're extinguished either before retiring for the evening or before leaving the home. Happy holidays.
Thank you. Mr. Rubino?
No comments tonight. Thank you.
Mr. Franklin?
I would like to wish everybody happy Hanukkah and happy holidays, happy New Year, Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Mr. Varga?
Merry Christmas.
Turn the mic.
Switch. Just like to wish everybody a happy Hanukkah and a Merry Christmas.
Great. Thank you. Mr. Dursick?
And as the mayor said, I brought Dennis here tonight to introduce him to council and the public. Dennis has been
been promoted to our new manager at the service department. He's handling second shift for now. Dennis has been with this department for roughly 20 years. He started as a seasonal employee, working on the back of a rubbish truck, and worked his way up through the system with all aspects of service. And he'll make a great addition to our management staff. And the last thing I'd like to add is Friday, December 22nd is the last day of leaf pickup with the leaf units. So any leaves that are out on the tree lawns after the 22nd, residents will have to put those in the brown bags, and we'll pick them up with our grass bag truck. Thank you. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah.
Mr. Bush?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Okay. Okay, this brings us to the end of our agenda. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn. Second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Russo, second by Mr. McGill. Roll call, please.
Mr. Torra?
Yes.
Mr. McGill?
Yes.
Mrs. Meany?
Yes.
Mr. Palunas?
Yes.
Mr. Russo?
Yes.
Mr. Schmitz?
Yes.
Mr. Zeller?
Yes.
Merry Christmas.